Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Oh.
Good morning, Amanda.
Hello.
Yes.
It's me and a car full of kids now.
Yeah, I'm glad you could join.
Yeah, sorry, I'll be driving while you're talking, so I'm going to go on mute.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, good.
Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, Swamiji.
Yes. What a beautiful day today.
Rain next week.
Oh, but that is next week, not today.
We want rain.
Yes, we want. Good morning, Noel.
Good morning, Swamiji. How are you?
Great. Good morning, Ujjala. Good morning, Gunamai.
Good morning, Swami.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning, Johnsons.
Good morning, Swami. This is Steve.
Yes. I can hear you. Glad to hear your voice.
Yeah, always. Yours too, always.
Yeah. Good morning, Vidaji.
Good morning.
Yes. It appears Ujjwalda is outdoor.
Yeah. It's good to have that view there.
I can see the clear sky out. Yeah.
It's beautiful out there.
Beautiful. Okay. So it's 11. Let's start. Let's start with the chanting. And I'm sharing the screen so that we can chant together. Hold on. All right. So let's chant in call and response. Om Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahano Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karvavahai. Sahaviryam Karvavahai. Tejasvinabadhitam astu. Tejasvinabadhitam astu. Ma vidvishavahai. Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shantihi. 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 Om Shantihi. 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 Om. May the Supreme Spirit protect us. May the Supreme Spirit nourish us. May we work together with great energy. May our study be vigorous and fruitful. May love and harmony dwell amongst us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shantihi. 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 Om Shantihi. Shantihi. Shanti. Om. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. So, good morning again to all of you. Next 15th, March 15th is birth anniversary of Sri Ramakrishna. But since on 15th March, we also have our annual meeting for our members, we shall celebrate it on 14th, that is next Sunday, from morning 10:30. So for quite some time, I have not spoken anything about Sri Ramakrishna. And when I was thinking about what to speak about, then one thought came to my mind that very often we speak about or discuss or try to understand Sri Ramakrishna's philosophy and spiritual teachings, but really we do take care of his humorous aspect. Humorous Sri Ramakrishna. Those of us who have read Sri Ramakrishna's biography or the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we have noticed that almost in every page of Gospel we find that people are laughing out. The recorder of the Gospel, Mahendranath Gupta, writes in brackets, all laugh. Sometimes he also writes loud laughter, loud laughter. So that is what we find in Gospel, that Sri Ramakrishna was a very humorous person, full of wit. In fact, one of the prayers that he used to pray to Mother Kali at the Kineshwar was, Mother, don't make me a dry monk. Because traditionally, the idea of a monk was to be stern and reserved, serious. But Sri Ramakrishna showed that seriousness in spiritual pursuit need not make us reserved and stern and dry. Rather, real spiritual pursuit should make us blissful and happy, joyous. The bliss of spirituality expresses itself as humor and wit and fun, frivolity through daily interactions. That is what we find in Sri Ramakrishna's life. And that is in tune with the Upanishads. The Upanishads say that Rasaha Vaisa, the reality, the ground of our being is bliss. It's like honey. So if one has touched or tasted even a little bit of that honey, it is bound to express through their daily life as humor and laughter. For other incarnations of God, we find their life stories, their teachings, miraculous powers, but rarely we find about this very human nature called their capacity to laugh, their humor, their fun, their innocent joys. These are not recorded for others. We don't get a record of their funny side. But for Sri Ramakrishna, thanks to Mahendranath Gupta, who recorded the conversation as Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, or to some extent, Swami Ishadhyanananda, who wrote Sri Ramakrishna's biography, they recorded for us the humorous side of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna's humor was from seeing the anomalies in nature, seeing the contradictions that is part of our existence, sometimes from observing the absurdities, irrationality, and natural human frailties. And we can see that there are some patterns in his humor. There are some patterns that we shall see in a moment. So, as I said, pages of gospel record all laugh or loud laughter. And a few occasions we find that people are rolling on the ground while laughing at Sri Ramakrishna's jokes, comments, mimicry. I was wondering that if Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna would have been composed in present time, then we have all acronyms for these different types of laughters. We know LOL, which has become a standard now to represent laughing out loud, or ROFL, rolling on the floor, laughing. We would have probably found all these acronyms in pages of gospel. So when I was thinking about, there are so many incidents of humors and fun in gospel, and I started, narrowing them, which ones to share. And I had trouble in selecting. There are so many. Anyway, let us see how far we can go for today. It appears that there are so many incidents, and the one important thing is that sometimes these laughters are humors are very subtle. We may miss the humor hidden in the incidents, in the remarks, in the comments, and unfortunately, the English translation, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, although it is very faithful translation, we don't miss much in substance, but much of the humor was lost in translating because there was no equivalence in English of those humor. To understand those humors, probably we need to little bit more explanation. So that is probably what I would like to do today. I like to, sometimes we need the context to enjoy the humor more. So as I said, there are some patterns in Sri Ramakrishna's humor, and they may be classified in 6 categories. We shall see slowly 6 categories, but these categories or divisions are not watertight. Sometimes they overlap. One, the first thing that draws our attention, or Sri Ramakrishna's humor, is his capacity to tease others without hurting them. Tease others. He used to tease people, but drive home some lesson. He used to poke fun at people, but we find that there was no animosity, or there's no, I would say, negative feelings in those funs. First one, he used to tease Narendranath Datta, who later on became Swami Vivekananda a lot. they had a very sweet relationship. And as we know, Swami Vivekananda was a spirited young man, very talented, very educated, a modern youth in every sense of the term. So it was difficult sometimes to convince Narendranath Datta through argument. He would not listen. So Sri Ramakrishna would take as the last resort the help of teasing him, to restrain him, to persuade him, to tame the wild horse called Narendranath Datta. Sri Ramakrishna would sometimes tame him. We find one incident that happened on 14th July 1885, and it happened in Calcutta. Sri Ramakrishna went to Balaram Basu's house. Balaram Basu was a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna and a very good devotee, and Sri Ramakrishna would often go to Balaram's house. Balaram Basu would invite Sri Ramakrishna to come, and Sri Ramakrishna would go there. And if Sri Ramakrishna would go there, many other people would come, young people would come. Then there will be discussions on spiritual topics, sometimes singing, even dancing. So in one such occasion, the discussions were going on and Narendra was present. Narendra was present. And we know that Narendranath Datta could sing well. He was an accomplished singer. He learned singing, traditional singing, playing drums, whatnot. So after some discussion, Sri Ramakrishna says, Narendra, please sing a little. Sing a little. So Narendranath Datta, at other times, whenever Sri Ramakrishna says, sing a little, sing, he immediately sings. This day, Sri Ramakrishna, Narendra had a different mind, a mind of his own. He said, no, I must go home. I have many things to do. So he would not sing. Now Sri Ramakrishna took his ultimate weapon, teasing him. Master says, Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, yes, my child, why should you listen to us? The words of those who have gold in their ears are valuable. That means earring, those who have golden earring, to them you will listen. That means to rich people you will listen to. No one listens to him who has not even a rag around his waist. So he used some Bengali word which cannot be translated as it is in English, which means very poor person. So Sri Ramakrishna was referring to him that I am a poor man. Why would you listen to me? It's a kind of tone of complaint. You would listen to people who are rich. Then everybody laugh. Then he says, you frequent the garden house of the Guho. The Guhos were rich people who had a kind of resort around by Ganga. So Sri Ramakrishna and one of the Guhos was Narendra's friend. He would invite Narendra. Narendra would go and spend the day with their friends in that garden house. So Sri Ramakrishna is complaining. You frequent the garden house of Guhos. I always hear about it. Whenever I inquire, where is Narendra today? I am told, oh, he has gone to the Guhos. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, I should not have said all those things, but you provoked me. So to silent Narendra, Sri Ramakrishna is telling, yes, in a tone of complaint, why would you listen to me? I am a poor man. You will go to a rich people. Everybody love to be around rich people. Why would you come to me? Then Narendra kept quiet for a few moments. He was embarrassed definitely because in front of so many people, Sri Ramakrishna said that. Then he said, there are no instruments to accompany me. How can I sing? So, Narendra was an accomplished singer, so he needed instrument, either harmonium or a stringed instrument. So without all those things, just how can he sing? Then master said, that also in a tone of complaint, my child, this is all we have. Please sing if it suits you. You must know how Balaram arranges things. So now it's a poke at Balaram Bose. Balaram Bose, although was a very good devotee and rich person, but at the same time was frugal, very thrifty person. So Sri Ramakrishna would often take chance to poke at Balaram's frugality, his thriftiness. So he said, you know how Balaram arranges things. Balaram says to me, please come to Calcutta by boat, because coming to Calcutta by boat is cheap. Okay, it was cheap. Take a carriage. Carriage means horse carriage, only if you must. So the point was this, that the rule was, since Sri Ramakrishna did not have money with him, whosoever would invite him had to arrange for his conveyance too. So Balaram would say, come by boat, so it will be cheaper for him to pay. Come by horse carriage, which was a bit costlier, only if you must. So this is Balaram's arrangement. So in this house, how can you expect to have instruments, right? So if it suits you, you sing. So this word, Balaram's arrangement, in Bengali it is called Balaramer Vyavastha. This is Balaram's arrangement. So this has become kind of many of the things that Sri Ramakrishna told in gospel later on became part of the standard vocabulary in our order. So if we go somewhere and see the arrangement is not up to the mark, but we have to manage somewhere, we say among ourselves, this is Balaram's arrangement. This is Balaram's arrangement. Now get yourself comfortable here anyway. Then another day, it was February 22nd, 1885. Lot of singing took place. Then Narendra was about to sing again. It happened in Dakshineshwar, in Sri Ramakrishna's room. Sri Ramakrishna asked Mahendra, the recorder of the gospel, to bring the tanpura. Tanpura is a stringed instrument to keep the tune, to keep the note. So Narendra was going to sing again, and Sri Ramakrishna said, bring the tanpura. And now this is the problem with great musicians. They take a lot of time to tune their instruments. We see that if you have especially seen any Indian classical concert, you would find that the musicians are so perfectionist to the point of obsession that they take a long time to tune in their instruments, which is, they already had prepared their things, but even though at the moment of their performance, they would again take a lot of time to tune in their instrument. So Narendra was tuning the tanpura. The master and the devotees became impatient. One of them said, Narendra will tune it today, and sing another day. So today, let Narendra tune it and let him sing another day. It will take a day to tune him. So everybody laughed. In Bengali, he said, Narendra badhbe aaj, bajabe kal. He will tune it today and play it tomorrow, sing tomorrow. So this has also become a standard vocabulary for us. Sometimes in our centers, we have musical performances. And if any Swami or any other artist taking a bit too much time to tune in their instruments, then we look at each other and say, he was tuning today and play tomorrow. Or sometimes if somebody is giving a bit too much long an introduction for their speech or what they are going to speak about, taking a lot of time to introduce the matter, we say among ourselves, tuning today, probably will speak tomorrow. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, I feel like breaking the Tanpura. He became impatient. I feel like breaking the Tanpura. Sri Ramakrishna felt, let's break the Tanpura. What is this going on? Tong, tong, tong. Means Tanpura tuning in, it makes a sound of tong, tong. He says, what is this? Only tong, tong. Then he mimics Narendra. That Narendra, even after tuning, he will play a interlude. So he says, he mimics Narendra. He would say, now after tuning, Narendra will practice Tana na na nere na. So, so this is the problem with the accomplished singers. They even after they have tuned their instruments, they takes time to play the interlude. He will practice Tana na na nere na. So the point was to urge Narendra to sing, because you are going to sing a devotional song. There is not much need of perfection in the instrument, perfection of tone. What matters most is your bhav, your mood, the attitude with which you are singing the song. In fact, we have seen that even great singers, accomplished singers, they can easily ruin a bhajan, a devotional song, by way of their remaining or stressing too much on the traditional tones and notes and interlude, these things. They totally may ruin the song if they don't have that attitude or mood with which the bhajan should be sang. I have seen in my own life that there are many people who are not so good singer, who don't have much good voice, not trained, but when they sing devotional songs, it works like miracle. You feel that that person is totally engrossed in what he is singing. Of course, Swami Vivekananda would most of the times sing devotional songs in right mood, and Sri Ramakrishna would go into samadhi, in ecstasy, listening to Swami Vivekananda singing. But this particular day, Narendra was becoming a bit too much fussy about being correct. So, with teasing Narendra, Sri Ramakrishna is urging him to start the singing soon, go into the essence, that is, start the bhajan quickly. Then another teasing. This is at the towards earlier than these two incidents, when it was Narendra just started coming to Sri Ramakrishna. And Narendra, before coming to Sri Ramakrishna, was a member of Brahmo Samaj, one wing of revolutionary Hindus who used to worship the impersonal God, and they fused Christian services with Upanishadic ideas. And they had their churches at many places in Calcutta. Educated people almost from the higher rung of the societies would become their member. Many important people were Brahmos. Narendra used to go to Brahmo Samaj, their services. And in Brahmo Samaj assemblies, they used to have 2 services a day, in the morning and in the evening. And when they will sing, they will read and meditate very briefly for a while, and 2 times a day. So one day, Swamiji means Narendra, was singing a song on Brahman, the impersonal God. He was singing, "Concentrate your mind on that one, ancient, stainless Purusha. Pray to and meditate on God continuously." At that, Sri Ramakrishna pointed out, he said, no. He stopped him. While in the midst of the singing, he said, no, don't say that. You rather say, pray and meditate to God twice a day. Twice a day, because that is what they were doing. They were praying and meditating on God twice daily, but singing that let's pray to God and meditate on Him continuously. So he says, why vainly repeat something that you don't actually intend to do? All laughed loudly, and Narendra was embarrassed. So this is how Sri Ramakrishna teases Narendra several times, sometimes to tame him, sometimes to persuade him, sometimes to drive home some spiritual truth or some insights. Then he sometimes teased Keshav Sen, the famous Brahmo leader. Famous leader at that time, he was a famous person, Keshav Sen. So Sri Ramakrishna heard about Keshav Sen, that he is a great Brahmo devotee. So as Sri Ramakrishna's nature was, whenever he would hear about a great devotee or a lover of God, he would love to visit their service to see how they are calling God, how they are approaching the same reality. So Sri Ramakrishna says, I went to Keshav's place and watched their prayer service. After speaking at length about the glories of God, Keshav announced, let us now meditate on God. I wondered how long they will meditate. Because for Sri Ramakrishna, meditation was a very easy thing, and he would meditate for many hours, even when he was a practitioner, not to mention after his illumination. As a sadhaka, as a spiritual aspirant, as a seeker, he used to meditate for long hours because he knew that the truth can be reached directly, realized directly, only through sustained meditation on the truth. If we meditate for long hours, the truth then unveils its secret. So I wondered how long they would meditate. But oh dear, they had scarcely shut their eyes for 2 minutes. before it was all over. How can one know God by meditating like that? While they were meditating, I was watching their faces. Now see the fun. Now the fun will start. I was watching their faces. Afterwards, I said to Keshav, I have seen a lot of you meditate. And do you know what it reminded me of? Troops of monkeys sometimes sit quietly under the pine trees at Dakshineshwar. So Dakshineshwar Kali temple, you know, is a big complex, lot of trees over there, big trees. And since devotees come and feed the monkeys, there are a lot of monkeys over there. And they would sit quietly sometime, just as if they were perfect gentlemen, these monkeys, okay? Quite innocent. And you know, when the monkeys are sitting quietly, they will close their eyes as if they are meditating. So Sri Ramakrishna would say that the monkeys, troop of monkeys would come, sit quietly and as if they are meditating. But they are not. As they sit there, they are thinking about all the gourds and pumpkins that the householders have grown around over their roofs, about all garden full of bananas and eggplants. And after a little while, they will jump with a yell and rush away to the gardens to get those things. I saw many of you meditating like that. So Keshav Sen and their followers meditating for 2 minutes, and immediately they opened up their eyes and went on with their regular business. It reminded Sri Ramakrishna the meditation of monkeys sitting quietly for 2 minutes, but for those 2 minutes, they were not actually meditating. They were thinking what to do next. So Sri Ramakrishna's point was, real meditation cannot be like this, very brief for 2 minutes, and then you jump on to your next activity. So it was a tease to Keshav to drive home the value of meditation. Probably all those teasings also made Keshav Sen change their service pattern with passage of time, that we come to learn from gospel and other places, that Keshav also modified their practices after having his interactions with Sri Ramakrishna, which is quite unusual because Brahmas were very revolutionary kind. They did not want to have kind of very eclectic practice, and many reputed people set their practices. So, but Keshav Chandra Sen, when he was at the helms of affairs, he modified the services as he went on learning from Sri Ramakrishna. So that is teasing to Keshav Sen. Then he teases with none other than Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi, his own wife. Many times we find, little incidents of here and there of many humor, any witty comments or mimicry that happen between Sri Ramakrishna and Holy Mother Sarada Devi. Here is one. This happened in Kamarpukur. Kamarpukur, Holy Mother at that time was living in the village Kamarpukur, and Sri Ramakrishna was in Calcutta. But he used to visit Kamarpukur once in a while. So this time he stayed for quite some time in Kamarpukur. This time happened at Kamarpukur. And Holy Mother says that at that time, and even now in India, in joint families, where people live together. Generations or brothers and their families all live together. In those type of families, everything is common. The kitchen is common. So the people, housewives, they cook together. So someone cooks this dish, someone cooks another dish together, and then they serve all those things together. All sit together, eat together. So in the same kitchen. Now Holy Mother was was married just a while. I mean, she was still new in learning. She was an amateur cook, and Sri Ramakrishna's brother Rameshwar's wife was an accomplished cook. So Holy Mother Sarada Devi is saying this. Lakshmi's mother means Rameshwar's wife. That is Sri Ramakrishna's sister-in-law. Lakshmi's mother and I used to cook. She could cook very well. One day, Master and Hriday is, Sri Ramakrishna's nephew. One day, the Master and Hriday were taking their meals together. Referring to a preparation made by Lakshmi's mother, the Master said, Hriday, the one who has cooked this may be compared to the physician Ramdas. So Ramdas was an accomplished physician. He was a reputed physician. And tasting the dish prepared by me, he said, and whoever has cooked this is Srinath Sen. Ramdas was a renowned physician, while Srinath Sen was only a quack. Only a quack. So he meant that Lakshmi's mother was an expert and I only an amateur. So instead of telling directly that Holy Mother's preparation was not good, he said, this is cooked by Srinath Sen, the quack, and this is made by Ramdas, the renowned physician. But Hriday was also no less a person. He also had sense of humor. He said, what you say is true, but you can get your Srinath Sen, that is Holy Mother, at all times. She can render you all kinds of service. You have only to send for her and she comes. But physician Ramdas takes a big fee for his visit. Besides, you cannot get him in all hours. Further, people at first consult a quack. This quack is your friend at all times. The master said, that is true. She is always available. So this has become part of our vocabulary in our order. Within our, monks, we sometimes refer to experts as Ramdas and Ramdas Baidhi, that is Baidhi means physician, and an amateur as Srinath Sen, Srinath Sen. So these are code languages that circulate among us to refer to an expert as Ramdas and an amateur as Srinath. Then Sri Ramakrishna used to tease Balaram, as I said before, because of Balaram's frugality, his thriftiness, his economic way of doing things. So whenever Balaram used to invite Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Ramakrishna's troops, all the people, he would then give them lunch, offer them lunch, and then Balaram's wish was to, since you have taken food here, you must perform something. Means you should sing, you should dance, okay? So that, as it were, the service that I have rendered to you has been compensated. So Sri Ramakrishna says, and this is funny because he tells all those things in front of Balaram, in front of many people where Balaram is also present. Sri Ramakrishna teases Balaram. Sri Ramakrishna says, you see, he has given us a feast today, feast. So this afternoon, he will make us all dance. That is, you have to dance because you have taken lunch here. You cannot go just like that. So everybody laughs. Means dancing too, of course, kirtan, devotional singing. But the idea was to, since I have given you feast, now you should give us something, give me something in return. Now, Sri Ramakrishna goes on to poke fun at Balaram. Sri Ramakrishna says, one day he hired a carriage for me from Dakshineshwar. As we have seen before, Balaram was against hiring a carriage, which was costly. He would say, come by boat. But one day he hired a carriage. Probably it was late at night. Boats were not available. One day he hired a carriage for me from here to the Dakshineshwar. He said that the carriage hire was 12 annas. 12 annas means roughly you may say 75 cents. 75 cents at that time, that too Indian 75 cents. Then I said to him, will the coachman take me to the Dakshineshwar for 12 annas? 12 annas was a bit too cheap for a carriage, that too at such late at night. Balaram says, oh, that will be plenty. That will be plenty. That means he got from somewhere he got a cheap carriage. Okay, that's why the coachman agreed to go even for 12 annas. Then Sri Ramakrishna says, result of being cheap. He said, one side of the carriage broke down before we reached the Dakshineshwar. So it was a ramshackle carriage. One side of the carriage broke down even before we reached the Dakshineshwar. The result of cheap. Then he said, besides, the horse stopped every now and then. Because, probably it was a very old horse. It simply would not go. Once in a while, the coachman whipped the horse and then it ran a short distance, then stopped again. So this is Balaram's. And then he goes on that to say that, as he said, that Balaram has given us feast, so we have to dance. That is, to dance we have to have singing. Now, to have that kind of song, that kind of kirtan, where you can dance, you need also good music players who can play the drum well, have a very good sense of the drums, because with that beats, with that rhythms, people would dance to the devotional songs. But Balaram did not hire any good drummer because that will be costly something. So Sri Ramakrishna goes on. He says, the program for this evening is that Ram will play the drum. Ram is, another devotee and amateur, and we shall all dance. Sri Ramakrishna then says, Ram has no sense of rhythm. Ram has, that is, he will play out of tune, out of beats, and that is how we have to dance, because Balaram would not spend a penny to hire another drummer. So these are poking fun at Balaram, so that Balaram learns the lesson that in few things, like when it comes to devotional things, when it comes to things related to God, for example, shrine, for example, temple, we should not be economic. We should not be cheap about. We should spend whatever it takes for things which are related to spiritual life, related to temple, related to shrine. Because that shows how much priority we have given to spiritual life. So if we purchase cheap things for the Lord, it really means that we don't really believe that God is residing in our shrine. So we are giving cheap things for that. So Sri Ramakrishna was against luxurious life, but always would find that whenever he would find that some, lack of enthusiasm or sloppy attitudes with regard to spiritual things like temple, like caring for devotees when you are arranging for a worship service. So try to do the best of the things. This is Sri Ramakrishna was trying to drive home at Balaram. The Balaram had all the means to do that, but he was being frugal on things he should not be frugal about. Then he says, that is Balaram's attitude. Sing yourselves, dance yourselves, make yourselves happy. I am not going to provide anything extra for you. So this is just about Sri Ramakrishna's teasing. As I said, there are several other aspects of Sri Ramakrishna's humor. One is some of his humors are to drive home some abstruse philosophical things, some spiritual truths, some spiritual insights, or some facts about our worldly existence we very often miss. But he point out all those things with humor. That is another aspect. So that then, why I am mentioning these things, because that will be part of the second lecture. Okay, I could not really imagine that it will take so much of time only to explain the teasing. Third type of humors are result of his keen observations to details, keen observations of people's behavior, how people behave. So that is so funny. That will be in the next talk. Then some of these wits are result of his troubleshooting. That is, he has done something, said something, then he wants to control the damage he has already done, which shows his wit, presence of his mind, but it becomes hilarious. That is one aspect of his humor. Some of his humors are pure innocent fun. Pure innocent fun, just fun for the fun's sake, which a spiritual person can do. Some of his humors are just his excellent skill of mimicry, how he mimics people, that are also recorded, and so funny and hilarious thing that we shall see in the second part of our talk. Why I am so there are a few reasons why I am dealing with or talking about Sri Ramakrishna's humor. It is not just to have fun, but to drive home a few points. One is, spiritual life is really a life of joy and bliss. Joy of bliss. So laughter is a healthy part of spiritual life. And as we have seen, all the spiritual stalwarts, as I have seen, all have had very keen sense of humor, very keen sense of humor that has made, or that has become part, the tradition of our Ramakrishna order. Here, the monks can laugh and be humorous to such an extent I have not seen anywhere else. That makes our order such a unique order. It has this humor has been handed down from generation to generation in our order, and Sri Ramakrishna was the one who initiated this. And we see in the lives of the direct disciples, all of them, all spiritual giants, but full of laughter, humor, poking fun, then making prank, pulling legs, playing tricks, practical jokes with each other. And that tradition have been handed down even to the next generation of monks. So most of the monks of Ramakrishna order are so humorous. So they have so much sense of humor. In fact, to be very frank, one of the reasons I was drawn to the monks of Ramakrishna order in my school days through their extraordinary keen sense of humor, which I did not find outside anywhere. Funny people I saw who could make a lot of joke, but these people, these monks, could spontaneously be so much humorous, witty. That was one of the reasons I got attracted to these monks. So it makes, life in our monastery so much light. There is a story that Swami Bhaskarananda writes about. There is a one of our centers in northeast India called Shillong. Shillong is a hilly city. It's a hill station, and next to our monastery is another house, a neighbor's house, and at that time the monastery's kitchen was kind of adjacent to that neighbor's kitchen. Only the distance was very less, and probably a boundary wall was there, but the laughter and fun of the monastery kitchen dining hall would reach the neighbor's place. So one day, the Swamis were having their dinner, and the neighbor comes in, enters the dining hall. So the monks were a bit surprised because this person never comes to the ashrama. What made him come at that hour? So they were surprised. Is there anything wrong? Then he said, his name was Mr. Mukherjee. Mr. Mukherjee said, no. In fact, I and my wife had been argumenting for quite some time. What makes you laugh so much, the monks here? My wife thinks you have many delicious dishes, and that's why you keep on talking and laughing, and your dinner and lunch keeps going on and on. But I know that your financial condition is not so well. I said, I don't think so. I think they eat a very plain meal. So today, to end the argument, and out of curiosity, I came unannounced to see what you guys really have, that you can enjoy so much, you can laugh so much having your dinner and lunch. Then the Swami said, okay, sit with us and take what we take. So it was plain bread and a little lentil soup. And the Swami says, this is what we take day after day. without any complaint. But what you hear laughing about is not about because of this delicious food, because this is part of our life. This is true what I saw at monasteries. So it is said that, a happy the sign of a healthy monastery where you can hear a lot of laughter. Sign of a healthy monastery. People are laughing a lot. That what I have seen in monasteries that I have seen at places. So we shall continue with these topics, Sri Ramakrishna's humor, and the next part, the important thing will be how Sri Ramakrishna teaches some spiritual truths and some insights into realities through humor. That will be the main things, and also other aspects of his humor and fun. See you, it will be next month. And next Sunday we shall have Sri Ramakrishna's birthday celebration from 10:30 a.m. which shall be live streamed in our YouTube channel. So do anybody has any question? Okay, before that, let's do the end chant, closing chant together. Then I can take questions if you have. So let's chant together. Om Madhubata Ritayate. Om Madhubata Ritayate. Madhuksharanti Sindhavaha. Madhuksharanti Sindhavaha. Madhvirna Shantoshadhihi. Madhvirna Shantoshadhihi. Madhunaktam Utoshasi. Madhunaktam Utoshasi. Madhumat Parthivagam Rajaha. Madhumat Parthivagam Rajaha. Madhudvau Astuna Pita. Madhudvau Astuna Pita. Madhumano Banaspatir. Madhumano Banaspatir. Madhumagam Astu Suryaha. Madhumagam Astu Suryaha. Madhvirgabo Bhavantu Naha. Madhvirgabo Bhavantu Naha. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Sweet blow the winds, and the oceans give forth blessedness. May the herbs and plants bring us health and happiness. Sweet unto us be the nights and dawns. May every particle of Mother Earth be charged with blessing. May the heavens shower us with benediction. Sweet unto us be the noble forest trees. Sweet unto us be the shining sun. Sweet unto us be all living creation. Om, sweetness, harmony, peace.